This is the best gaming capture card in the market right now. This is AVerMedia's Live Gamer Ultra 2.1, and the key thing about this capture card is that it has HDMI 2.1 ports, and what that means is it could support 4K at up to 144 Hz, which is something that I've been waiting for like almost 3 years now, ever since the new generation consoles came out. And so if you guys have seen me streaming on Twitch or on Kick or on YouTube, I'm gonna have links down in the description below so that you guys can check out my stream. The major thing that I complained about is the fact that I have everything that's compatible with HDMI 2.1. Alright, I got the gaming monitor that supports 4K 144 Hz, I got the Xbox Series X, I got the PS5, I got the gaming PC, you know, I got everything, the HDMI switch even that supports 2.1. But the major key thing that was bottlenecking it was the capture card. The capture card was only able to give me 4K 60 Hz, and so I was limited to that. And so the only way to get a higher refresh rate is that I would have to go down in resolution to 1440p to be able to do 120 or more. And so that was the major thing. I had everything that was supporting it, but the capture card itself was bottlenecking it. And so now we have something that is compatible with it, and I gotta say, I've been testing this for over a month now, and this is by far the best capture card in the market right now. It supports variable refresh rate, HDR10, and it has everything that you need. So let's dive in, let's talk about the features, the specs, and then I'm gonna show you guys on different monitors and different consoles, and I'll give you guys my overall thoughts. So diving into what it all comes with, we got the installation diagram on the box itself showcasing all the ports and what to connect everything to. Next, we got the quick start guide and other documentations, a TRS to TRS audio cable, a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C to C cable, an HDMI 2.1 cable, and lastly, the capture card itself. Taking a look at the ports, we got the USB Type-C port for power, an HDMI 2.1 in and out port, a headset, and the gamepad port. On the front, there's the RGB zone that you could customize in the software, and we'll get into that in a bit. Now, setting up the capture card was super simple and straightforward. You just plug your device in the HDMI in port and then the HDMI out port from the capture card to your monitor. Then connect the USB-C cable to your PC. Make sure it's a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port to get the full support of the capture card. I don't have another USB-C port, so I used an adapter and it works just fine, so that's good to know. Now, on your computer, you want to download the AVerMedia gaming utility and the latest firmware to ensure it's up to date. Once on the software, you can control the RGB zone to multiple modes like rainbow, breathing, static, and so much more. And you can adjust certain settings like the headphone and gamepad volume if you're using those ports. Now, getting into the specs and what this capture card supports, in the pass-through, it could do 4K 144 Hz, 1440p 240 Hz, and 1080p 360 Hz. All of these also support HDR and variable refresh rate. It also can do ultra widescreen support like 3440 by 1440p at 120 Hz pass-through. The maximum capture it could do is 4K at 60 Hz, and you could go all the way down to 480i. Now, for reference, just so you guys know, I tested this capture card on the BenQ EX2710U, which supports HDMI 2.1 and supports 4K 120 Hz. I also tested this on the BenQ EX3415R, which is a curved ultra-wide gaming monitor that supports 3440 by 1440p at 120 Hz, the exact settings that this capture card supports. Lastly, I tested this on the BenQ Zowie XL2566K, which does 1080p at 360 Hz, but sadly over DisplayPort, and through HDMI it's 240 Hz. Since this monitor is using HDMI 2.0, it'll cap at 240 Hz at 1080p. Lastly, for my 4K display setup, I have my Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and gaming PC all hooked up to an HDMI 2.1 switch, so I could easily change from one device to another, and I'm glad to say that even with the switch in between the devices, everything still works and I've had no issues in all of my testing. I'm gonna have the HDMI switch that I'm using down in the description below so that you guys can have something compatible with HDMI 2.1. Now, in my testings, you guys can see on the Xbox Series X that it supports everything up to 4K 120 Hz except Dolby Vision, and for some reason 24 Hz, which is not a big deal. Same thing goes with the PS5. I could do 4K 120 Hz and enable HDR and variable refresh rate. I could also do 1440p 120 Hz, of course. And lastly, on the PC, I could do 4K 120 Hz. Now, I tested this for weeks using it to stream and to game, and I have never dealt with any issues. No connection problems where it doesn't pop up on the monitor or in OBS, no frame rate issues when using variable refresh rate, no audio syncing issues. Pretty much it just worked, which was amazing. The delay from what you see and what OBS shows is almost real time, milliseconds of a difference, which is fantastic for an external capture card because you don't have to worry about delaying your webcam and microphone to match the gameplay. The HDR looks almost identical to what I was seeing on my monitor, which I love because before, when I was using the Elgato 4K 60 Pro in HDR, the colors and dynamic range didn't match to what I was seeing and what my viewers were seeing. So I would need to adjust some settings in OBS to make it match as closely as possible to what I was seeing. With the AVerMedia, I don't need to do that at all. Overall, the gameplay felt smooth and detailed, and I love that I could finally utilize my monitor and consoles to its fullest potential while also streaming. Now, for those of you who are aware of streaming with a PlayStation, once you connect a headset to your controller or console, it'll stop the audio signal through the HDMI, so your audience won't be able to hear any of the gameplay. But with the Live Gamer Ultra 2.1, you can connect your headset directly to the headset port on the back and using the TRS audio cable provided to connect to your controller port and the other end to your controller. Then in the gaming utility software, you can adjust the controller input, headphones, and microphone volume. This makes it easier when it comes to streaming on the PS5. You can also use a splitter like the Elgato Chat Link Pro to connect directly to the headset port and the other end to your headset and controller. Either one will work just fine. Now, I also tested this on the BenQ XL2566K monitor, which supports 1080p at 240Hz over HDMI, and everything felt so buttery smooth, and I hooked up the capture card to my laptop to show it in a portable scenario, and everything worked just as fine as well. Now, you will need a laptop with at least an Intel Core i7 7th generation processor and a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti and above for it to run smoothly, and a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port. But I feel like there are a ton of laptops out there at an affordable price that could support it if you want to stream while you're on the go. Lastly, testing this on the ultra-wide monitor was great because now I could still stream while using this monitor to its fullest potential without needing to be cropped at a 16:9 aspect ratio. So for people who love to stream racing games like Forza Horizon and Gran Turismo and still be immersed with an ultra-wide monitor, you could do that with this capture card. Now in the OBS, you could stick with the 21:9 aspect ratio if you want and create an overlay around that, or you can change it to the 16:9 aspect ratio and it'll still look good for the most part, but some things will look a bit squished or distorted. It's up to you on that, but I love that I could play with this aspect ratio with a high refresh rate. Now, let me show you guys some example footage with the capture card running through OBS at 4K 60 FPS at a lossless rate.
Recharging my shields.
Reloading. Whole squad's down. We made the right choice here. Level 4. That ain't one of these. Hostile, right here.
Down! And not getting up. Victory!
When I heard that the rebel Lombax was battling me, I had to...
Come here, the universe, celebrate your defeat?
Who was celebrating? You mean them?
No!
Wait! I've been fighting rebels for years. Let me help you wipe them out.
Ah, my, strange...
Come on, load him up. He's here! Smash him! Stealing weapons? Not on my watch! Stick to the plan! Here come the exterminators! Whose idea was it to have a gun club in the city? gonna start a petition. Replace all the gun clubs with something better.
Now, when it comes to cons, I haven't really dealt with any issues in my opinion. Like, I haven't had any issues when it comes to audio syncing or HDR or variable refresh rate or any of the other resolutions that I messed with. And I have been using this for over a month, trying to see if there's any issues that needs to be, you know, dealt with. But I personally haven't really dealt with any issues. This honestly just works perfectly, and that's the major thing. I guess one of the major issues that this is, as far as for a majority of you guys, is the cost. This is going for $299 US, and so that is pretty expensive on the, you know, capture card. But honestly, not that much. When I got the Elgato 4K 60 Pro, it is a PCI slot. It was $250. For $50 more and giving you all the other capabilities, you know, I would 100% spend the extra $50 and get this capture card. So yes, I guess it is on the expensive side. It's a $300 capture card to be able to stream at a high resolution and all that, but this is, like I said, this is the only one in the market right now that does that. So honestly, it depends on you whether you require it or not. But if you are going to want to get something, this is the only one out there that works. But there you guys have it. That is my thoughts on the AVerMedia Live Gamer Ultra 2.1 capture card. This is an absolute beast. And if you guys have purchased this, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys have any feedbacks or concerns, anything that you guys have dealt with, please let me know. I would love to hear it. And the interesting about this is that this is their portable capture card that runs on USB-C, but they're going to be coming out with a PCIe version early next year in 2024. So I'm very curious on what the two differences are going to be when it comes to that. And the PCIe one is only for desktops. So is it more of a bitrate thing? Maybe just higher bitrate on the PCIe? But this one honestly looks perfect, and it works for 90% of the people that I would recommend this. Honestly, I don't see so much of a need for the PCIe one. So I'm very curious on what the differences are going to be. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so that you guys can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. As always, Tech HD. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!